Good morning, all. I'm Samina Majid, and I'm here to have a paper presentation on technology's role in tracking, testing, and treating COVID 19. So, this is the outline of my presentation. Let's see each one of them. Introduction. Technology has a history of helping the medical industry track and treat viruses. Now, in case of COVID 19, we are seeing another rise in a wide variety of digital tools like epidemiology tools, chatbot helpers, EHR guidance tools, and also rapid response test kits. The people of the healthcare field are continuing to search for tools like tools and medications to help the people fight against the virus. Now, extensive gathering of diagnosis data on people who is infectious is quite essential to save the life of thousands of people, and this data is even helpful in training the artificial intelligence machine models and also in limiting economic damages. As of a study conducted in 2019, about 67% of the global population has subscribed to mobile phone devices, and out of this 67% people, about 65% have got their smartphones, which has of course helped a lot in tracking of virus and quelling it. Now let's see what COVID 19 is. COVID 19 is an illness that is caused by the coronavirus, and it was declared as a pandemic by the World Health Organization on the 11th of March 2020. It was up to now over 9.8 million confirmed cases are there of COVID 19, and more than 4,95,000 deaths have recorded worldwide. And how does COVID 19 spread? This virus is spread mainly between people who are in close contact with each other, and this is spread through aerosols or droplets containing the virus when these aerosol or droplets are inhaled, or it is directly come into contact with the eyes, nose, or mouth of a person. So the preventive measures that has to be taken for preventing this viruses, one has to practice physical distancing, and one has to wear a mask that properly covers his nose and mouth, then keeping his rooms well ventilated and avoiding crowds, cleaning your hands properly with soap or sanitizer, etc. Now let's see how digital technologies handle COVID-19. um, digital digital technologies, this is not the first time that digital technologies have helped in detecting and curing virus. When you check the past or when you check the history, there are a lot of times when digital technologies have helped every countries in treating or in finding viruses. Let's see. Once plague in 14th century was affected in Europe. So what the people of Europe followed was isolation of affected communities and restriction of population movement. That is, restriction of population movement means people were allowed to stay at their own places and not to move from there. And this is the same that has been same rule that has been put in case of COVID-19 also, plus some additional surveillance, rapid case identification, interruption of community transmission, and some strong public communication is provided here. Just like that, during the outbreak of severe acute respiratory syndrome in 2003, what Hong Kong used was they used electronic data systems to identify the clusters of disease among the people. And also during the Ebola outbreaks in West Africa, they used mobile phone data to model travel patterns to identify where and all one person has covered and to which all crowd he has gone, etc. Now let's see the significant applications of big data in COVID-19 pandemic. Um, we know COVID-19 virus is increasing rapidly at an astonishing rate every day. So more than 1.2 billion people have developed an infection, and out of these, around 65,000 have died of this disease until today. So this amount, 1.2 billion and around 65,000, is not such a small amount. It is such a very huge amount itself. So there is an immediate requirement to store such a large amount of data of these cases, like those people who have got infected, those who have got recovered and expired. Keeping a record of all these patients of these three categories using different data storage technologies is made possible using the application of big data here. And you'll be thinking why all these records are kept. These records are actually kept to undertake research and development about the virus pandemic, and also this helps to take measures to fight against this virus and also in finding its after effects. So this will help to computationally analyze to reveal patterns, trends, associations, and differences of the virus. We have heard that the pattern or the difference in virus. Yeah, we have heard about the virus that is found in some other places is a variety of this virus that is found in Kerala. So this kind of varieties are all found using this type of data that is collected. Now, uh, let's see its applications of big data. The first one is identification of infected cases. By identifying the infected cases, one can analyze the level of risk and then travel history. By taking the travel history of a person, we can see to which and all places he has traveled and how many people are in risk this time. Then identification of the virus at an early stage. Always an early detection is always good to find the infected people or the future infected people. Then future entered or people entered or leaving the affected area. By this big data, by this data that we have collected, we can quickly identify the chances of the virus in those people who have entered and left that city, that affected area. Then tracking and prediction. By this, you can predict how the COVID-19 disease will be spread over time and space. Then comes diagnosis and prognosis. A fast and accurate diagnosis of COVID-19 can save lives and limit the spread of the disease and also generate data on which to train AI models. That is, these days, artificial intelligence models that is made against COVID-19, it diagnoses COVID-19 using the images of chest radiography. And artificial intelligence can also be used as accurate as humans and even more accurate as humans. It can save radiologists time because handling such a huge number of people and their reports is quite difficult. So this can be done and diagnosing the disease of these people can be done using the artificial intelligence machines, and it can save a lot of time of this radiologist time, and it is even cheaper than the standard test for COVID-19. Then comes treatments and vaccines. AI models and or AI machines can accelerate both the process of discovering new drugs to fight against virus and also for repurposing existing drugs. Then comes social control. Suppose a person is asked to follow self quarantine and to keep away from others, and suppose he is trying to float away this rule abided to him, and if he's trying to get out of his home, at that particular moment he'll get a call from the authority asking him to stay at his home, and this is done by tracking him by the facial recognition system. Then comes technology supported temperature monitoring. We can say technology supported temperature monitoring system located at many locations where there is a crowd expected. Like we can see in a supermarket, in a hypermarket, or you can see it in the railway station, and even inside an exam hall, just to identify his temperature, and if he's got a high temperature, he'll be taken for further investigation. Then for fighting misinformation, as in every field, COVID-19, there is enough misinformation spread among people about COVID-19 also. So by using this kind of AI machines, you can prevent this misinformation also. Then increasing traceability and transparency by sharing data. During a time of pandemic or during a time of such a situation, definitely the accurate and the what the absolute information should be shared among the entire population. So one such an example is the telecom operators like Jio, BSNL, Airtel, and they are all providing caller tunes. When you dial to your friend or someone, you can see a caller tune asking you to keep away from people for about 1 meter, or they'll be asking you to have your hands sanitized each time. So these suggestions are given by the telecom operators. This is an example of sharing data. Now let's see what digital contact tracing is. It will automate tracing on a scale and speed that is not easily replicable without digital tools. And it will also reduce a reliance on human recall, and particularly in those densely populated areas with mobile populations. For example, in South Korea, contacts of confirmed cases were traced using their linked location, surveillance, and transaction data. And it is this kind of transaction data is used by the governments by using the GPS or global positioning system, or using their cellular networks. This is how proximity data are collected by. and proximity data are collected by both Bluetooth or a combination of these GPS and Bluetooth. Now let's see how the digital contact tracing actually works. Here you can see there are two users, user A and user B. User A is painted in red, indicating that he is affected by the virus. And at the second column you can see the contact event. In the contact event column, it is represented by their smartphones, and both their smartphones are generating a unique key which is shared by both of them when they have come in direct contact with each other. Similarly, user A has generated so many contact records in which there are so many contacts of different keys of different people. Similarly, B has also got a contact record. In case of confirmed, when A is confirmed with a positive result, the keys that is stored inside stored inside the phone or stored inside the application of user A is shared to the centralized system, and centralized system will notify each of the keys registered in the user A's phone, that notifying each one of them, asking them to follow strict self quarantine because they have come in direct contact with a positive infected person. So this is how it works. Now, exposure notification. This is another application that is to detect the proximity. It is to detect proximity. It uses Bluetooth signals that is emitting from nearby devices to record contact events. To know if you have got exposed to someone who have reported having COVID-19, you just have to turn on your exposure notifications. For this, what you have to do is you have to download an official application from your region's government public health authority, and then you have to then this exposure notification system is introduced in an update to Google Play services. Let's see how it works. Once you opt in to the exposure notification system, or when you on this exposure notification, it will generate random IDs that will get changed every 10 to 20 minutes. And your phone works in the background to share these random IDs using its Bluetooth, using your phone's Bluetooth with the phones around you that also have exposure notifications on, so that the other phones should also have their exposure notifications on. So just like we told before, all the people having COVID-19 will be notified whenever they come in direct contact with each other. So what this system actually saves is the data, the day the contact happened, how long the contact lasted, and the Bluetooth signal strength of that contact. Means it will identify how close the other person have come into contact with this person. And using this system, the public authority is not allowed to use your phone's location. So your privacy is somewhat safe here. Now let's see the impact of digital search during COVID-19 pandemic. Let's see the effect of digital services during the COVID-19 pandemic time. The main issue during using this kind of technologies is only the issue of privacy that mobile applications, including COVID-19 trackers, that affect on us. It can be always often used to threaten the user's personal information. For example, always a person's personal place is his home, his living room, and all. But because of the discovery of online classes, it is actually an intrusion of privacy. The cameras are on in their private spaces of their homes, so it is of course an intrusion of privacy. Now, conclusion. What I'm having to conclude is that due to the introduction of these technologies, of course, we are accelerating the digitalization of the economy. We have brought the economy so much forward in case of digitalization. It includes a move towards greater automation of human labor, the reshoring of production activities, and even growing the market dominance. Though these are all useful in a lot of factors, there we can expect an erosion of data privacy, which may get rolled back. So these are my references. Now, thank you so much for listening to me. Let's hope for a better tomorrow where there is no presence of this COVID-19 virus. Thank you.